Hello, stamping friends. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey, and it's Monday, Facebook Live. So let me see if I can see if anybody's watching. It's always a trick to see if things are working on Facebook. But I think we've got it. So today I'm going to do a class with you. And this is one of those classes that if you purchase $35 or more, I will send you these cards. These cards gets in the mail for free. So you can do that. You have to use the host code, but you can always watch for free. So that's no big deal. Hey, Kathy, I'm glad that your alarm worked and you got to watch today. So we're going to mostly go to greetings. Aren't these the prettiest fonts and text? So you have happy birthday, thinking of you, and just a note in 3 different fonts. Super fancy, kind of casual, and medium fancy. And size is different. So I think they're definitely go-to greetings. So we're going to use those today. And we're going to use the Dainty Designs. Is that what this is called? It's the free DSP that you can get if you place an order of $50 or more. And it's super, super popular. Everybody's just raved about it, and all the pretty cards you can make, and the paper makes the cards. Isn't that beautiful? So many things that you can do with this paper. And then the back sides are just as pretty. Nice masculine look there. Flowers, ooh, watercolor. And another, let's see what's here. Oh, the little pink flowers and some more watercolor. So the designs are very versatile. We can make lots and lots of different cards. I've seen some beautiful cards, and I've gotten some great inspiration from other people. So you've probably seen some of these designs before already. The first card we're going to make is the hardest, and it's not really that hard. It's a little more detailed, so that's what I'm going to do first, and then we'll do the easier ones later. So this one uses that purpley, just purple and pink background paper, and it's a new product, a new die called Around the Bend, and it creates this curvy look. Now, we're gluing this one down, but you could do it to where this lifted up and was part of your card. There's lots of ways you can do this one. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is start with our basic white. We're going to create our curved background, or topper, I guess is what it's called. And this is 3 inches wide. And so we just kind of guess where we want it to be. And we'll run that through the cut and emboss machine. I'm not doing a whole lot of cutting and embossing today, just a little. I really should use my mini for this, but I don't have it out yet today. As we were eating lunch, I told my husband, I said, I've been knitting today. So I said, I wonder if they would rather watch me knit instead of make cards. You know, I love my crafts. So, and I know, Rosalind, you're a knitter, so it's hard sometimes to decide which craft to work on for the day. Knitting, stamping, quilting, all those. things. And they all kind of take over our life, but that's okay. I read that the New York Times had an article this weekend about predictions for 2023. And one of them, it was that crafting would be a big boost. Well, I think we've already figured that out, haven't we? Because we're all crafters, or we wouldn't be watching videos. I had to get rid of all those little papers there. So there's our topper, and we're going to put a rich raspberry border underneath it. And so we've got this scalloped piece that will cut that. So we kind of need to just eyeball where we're going to cut. We've always got our paper trimmer that we can wiggle around with that. And we'll cut this. We're going to cut some rich raspberry flowers. So these little daisies, we'll go ahead and cut those at the same time. That'll save a run through the cut and emboss machine. Kathy, I would show you my knitting, but right now what I've been doing is unknitting, taking away some stitches that were wrong. So when I figure it's a new pattern for me, when I figure it out, I'll take a picture. Sometimes we do a lot of starting over again. And that's okay. Now we need a few more flowers, so we'll save that for just a minute. So now we've got our two little pieces, and we can line that. Now see, I'll have to trim that off. I'm going to stamp this before I adhere it, because if I mess up, then it'll be all right. You can't turn, I guess you could turn it over, but it might not look as nice. And we're going to stamp with rich raspberry. I decided to use the fancier font on this card. It says, it's the casual script. It says happy birthday. That's pretty good. I don't know how that happened. Got kind of straight. Now we'll go ahead and glue this down. I don't think I've used glue this morning, so it doesn't want to come out. See if I can find there's a pin. These quilting pins are a little bit longer, so they work good for getting the clogged up glue out. Put just a little here. If we need more, we'll add that later. I think I'm going to cut this with the trimmer, the paper trimmer. It seems to make more sense than me trying to do it straight, because I don't think I can do that. And that trimmed that very nicely. That's the good thing, is you can always wiggle around and make that work. And this card's pretty quick to get put together. Looks like I've got glue on my finger there. Let's rub that off. Yep, there we go. That worked. Now we're ready to kind of put this together. See, even though I said this was the most difficult one, it's not that difficult. It doesn't have that many pieces. Oh, I can't believe you're taking a whole sweater apart, Rosalind. I'd probably just give it to somebody else. And this is going to just cover the whole front of the card at 5.5 by 4.25. And then we'll adhere that. Isn't that pretty? It's just so simple but pretty. Sometimes we get too bogged down with doing elaborate cards that take an hour, and really a nice simple card carries the same sentiment as a fancy card. Now we need some our daisies that are stuck to my cutting plate. There's a half daisy. I don't know why this stuck on here. And there's one. I'd like to have 2 more full ones. So we'll do 2 more, and we'll do the little dots for the insides. And we'll just run that through at the same time. You get 4 dots at one time, so that works well. Saves you some, especially those such little bitty dots. My goodness, they're tiny. The center of the flowers. One that's stayed on the platform. And now we'll get our 2 little flowers. If you run this back and forth twice, it will cut through 2 pieces of cardstock. So there we go. I need to put that where I won't lose it, because I can lose these little bitty dies so quick. If I'm not careful. Sometimes I hear them hit the trash can. So we'll put a little drop of glue in the center of each one. Put our dots on there. Some of the you get 2 round ones and 2 that are kind of triangular, and I think they work well for the half. But we're going to use them makes them look like a cone flower, doesn't it? sticky, sticky stuff today. So we're supposed to get some snow today, and I guess that's what got me all wound up about knitting, because I needed a comfy craft. Now we're just going to make a cluster here in the corner of our little daisies or cone flowers, whatever we want to call them today. And then our card will just about be finished. I'm not even putting dimensionals on these. They're so tiny. I don't want them to snag in the envelope. And I think with dimensionals, they would have more of a tendency to snag. So that's why I didn't even pull out the minis. Now we're going to put our little half flower here. I had enough left over to put a little stripe in the inside, and then I cut three more of the little daisies to go inside. And I'll do that later. And this one, You're an entire year more amazing and lovely as ever. That's from the Amazing Year stamp set that has some nice birthday sentiments. So there's our card, nice and simple, but isn't the border pretty? I've seen, you see, do these kind of look like bubbles to you? You could use it with the Brood for You stamp set, and they could be beer bubbles. Maybe you could turn it this way and have your beer. I don't know, you know, lots of ideas of things we can do with around the bend dies. All right. Now our second one, we're going to use the trimmer again. It's super simple. I got this idea from Debbie McGee, and she is another demonstrator that I like her cards, and I thought, oh, I love the simplicity of this one. So I just kind of cased it, changed my colors, and but still kind of true. We're using, now this paper is the one that goes with the ovals, and then this part goes down the center. And if you cut it just right, you get a 2-inch wide. You get two pieces like this that are 2 inches wide. And then I'm just mounting it on vellum. So I'm going to use tear and tape because vellum does not absorb glue at all. And so we need something that will hold this down. Okay, if it was special yarn, I guess it's worth taking it apart. I've heard of people doing that, buying sweaters like at the thrift store. Maybe even just to knit Christmas stockings and stuff. I think that's a great idea. I don't know, there's just something about special yarns from a nice yarn shop and not from the big box stores. That make your knitting more enjoyable. Well, Jamie, I'm glad you're here today. Would you tell Bonnie hello? I've been missing her. Bonnie's her dog. And we got to spend some time with Bonnie last week. And we're just going to run this down here. See, that gives you a nice little soft edge. And we'll put some tape on this again. You know, and make sure and don't go over the edge there because it'll show through the vellum. Saturday, some of us will be on Crazy Crafters off and on during the day, and we will be sharing celebration items with you. So mark that on your calendar. The schedule will be posted in a couple days. It'll be a small group, but that doesn't mean you won't get fabulous card ideas, because you will. And we'll be over on Crazy Crafters. It seemed a little confusing when we did the hop, so that's why we're just going to go back to our regular craziness. And oh, good. I'm glad you're working on yours, Cindy. I haven't worked on mine yet, but I will. I've loved almost everything out from the mini catalog. I hope you guys have. I mean, the celebration catalog. I think the owls are just a hoot, and I love this paper. And what else do we like? I think the carrots are fun. I don't know how many people like them as much as I do, but the carrots were cute. So, now we're going to stamp Happy Birthday again. This time we're using Mossy Meadow. So we're going to clean this off. It's the same stamp. We're going to die cut it with the smallest tailored tags die. And we'll run that through the cut and emboss. And that won't be hard to do. Let's see how that fits so nicely. That's why it's nice to have the variety of sizes that you can get with that go-to greetings. I like to mix and match. I get my regular catalog products, my celebration. That gives you so much variety. It extends your products. So there's our die cut. Very rarely use a retired product, but this twine with the silver I just had to use because it matches the Blushing Bride. So if you don't have pink baker's twine, you can use your blends to color them. You can use your watercolor markers to color them too, you know. You just have to let them dry. Let the twine dry before you start tying the bows, or you'll get ink all over your fingers. But it dries real quick, especially the alcohol markers. So having white baker's twine is a good idea, and then you can color it any color you want. But I thought this was, we all have some secret stash, don't we, that we've not used it all up. I think that was from last year's Christmas catalog. And now we'll add this with dimensionals. This one we can have some dimension. And I do think we need a little bling on this one. I was thinking the iridescent gems Yeah. Just the shine of those. These are called iridescent rhinestones. They have a little pinky tint to them, but really they pick up whatever color they're next to. So if it's on blue paper, they're going to look blue. And here they'll look kind of clear and pink all together. So let's use our take a pick tool. Or take your pick, I think is what it's called. And we'll pick up some of these. I want the smaller ones. And the little putty just grabs these and picks them up. Makes it easy for you to put them on your card without getting it all over your fingers. Okay, so that's our second card. Sweet and simple. Still gives you the sentiment that you're looking for. We'll stamp the inside with the entire year more amazing. If I don't do this inside now, I'll forget. Sometimes I'll leave them blank just in case it's thinking of you or something. But this one, I think we can go with that. So there's our second card. Now our third card is going to require a tiny bit of surgery, and I'll show you how that works. So this is the oval. Now you can do yours however you want, but I wanted mine to have these layers, and look what happens. It's bigger. I don't like to have odd, short white here, but wider white there. I think that's weird looking. So what I did was I just chopped the card off. See, it's about almost a ½ inch that I cut off. So when I cut this, I lined it up and made sure that it was 4 3/4 and 3 3/4. And then I just created my layers 1/8 of an inch more all the way around. Because I wanted the layers to give it that contrast. And it's so easy, just to chop your card. So we're going to stamp this first, just in case we stamp it goofy. And I used this one, just a note, because it fits right in there. Happy birthday was a little too big, so just a note. And I think the thank you will fit in there. The thinking of you and happy birthday are a little bit too big. I want to make sure that I get that good. Let's see, do we want, I think I want it this way. These flowers need to be over there. And this is the Mossy Meadow again. So we're just using stamps, ink, and paper a lot today. Very little in the way of die cutting. I think that's the way we used to be before we even had a big shot. Just stamps, ink, and paper. Oh, thanks, Treasure. I didn't know you were here, but I'm glad. I like to share my cards. I hope I don't drive you guys crazy. With all my talking, but I like to watch other people share cards, and I like to share cards. So So it works out. Alright, so now I'm going to take my card base. I'm going to lay this here where I can have an even border all the way around. I don't mind wonky sometimes, but that looks like I'm cutting about 1/4 of an inch there. So we'll trim that off. Looks like we need to do cut it again. Let me pull that off. And now our card will look a little more balanced. Like there's a tiny little piece there. Now it just looks better. Doesn't it look nicer? And in the envelope, it doesn't, nobody's going to sit and measure and think, oh, she sent me a smaller card. They'll just be glad to get a card. I'm going to cut a couple of the daisies, and this time I'm going to use the crushed curry and then early espresso for the dots, because that's more this, see, that's that color. Could almost sponge it with pumpkin pie, I think, and get a perfect match, but I'm not going to worry about that. And we'll run 2 through at the same time. We'll just fold that in half and cut 2. Remember to run it back and forth more than once. Usually with something that detailed you can't, but this one seems to be doing real well cutting 2 at a time. You kind of, every big shot or cut and emboss machine is different, and you know what your machine will do or not. They all have different, the rollers kind of calibrate a little different. So there's our 2. And I wanted this to have some linen thread. So we're going to do kind of a bow. We're just going to put some glue dots down to hold it, because I didn't want it to have a knot. So we're just going to put a glue dot there and make a loop, and that'll hold it. Because these daisies are so tiny, I just didn't feel like they would do well with a knot under them. So we'll punch out our flower centers. And then we're done. That's actually the back of that, so it's okay, because we're going to, no, it's the front, isn't it? It's kind of hard to tell. It adds a little texture there on our flowers. The flowers, when they run through, they get the little dots, seeds, so you don't really even have to put the center unless you want to. put these on with a little bit of Tombow. See, if you had a knot there, I just think it would be too kind of lumpy looking. There's our third card. So let's see, we can do a showcase of all our cards now and put them over here. If I can find where I put them. So there's the first one. Here's our second card. And then our third card is the pink one. Different colors. Each one is a bright and cherry, but totally different colors. This is called Around the Bend, and the sentiments are go-to greetings. So if you like those, put them on your wish list. If you would like to get these in the mail, then place an order for $35 or more, and I will pop them in the mail to you, and you can create these cards. You'll just have to provide a stamp, and we all have sentiment stamps and things we can add to that. I hope you have a fabulous rest of the day, and I will see you Wednesday. Bye.